day, good night, CFR Network, CFR Sports. Welcome back to the lab. Special guest, returning guest, Mike the Truth Jackson. What it do, sibling? What's happening?
Oh man, you got me on a great day because the day is June 9th and it's Mike the Truth Day here in Missouri City, Texas. So it's a special day for your boy, but I'm doing great. Yourself?
Definite, man. Listen, sun are shine, it's
Yeah.
Gemini season. So,
I
can't complain, man. Can't complain at all.
like to hear that. That's what I like to hear.
Definite, man. Definite. So it's been what, 2 years? I think this is the last time we spoke.
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah. So
To
a lot.
2019.
Well, with this zombie apocalypse, like the days and everything is just molding into one. So let's start
Yeah.
there. Let's start there. Let's recap. So what's been happening in your world post or pre lockdown and zombie apocalypse?
Man, we've been just trying to get everything, just life, we're continuing the growth of the brand, the Mike the Truth Entertainment brand. We jumped out. We're starting an apparel line called Shits and Giggles. Our premier brand on that is going to be my Snow Roach line. Obviously, that has some significant meaning, but I've been dealing with that. I've been kind of dealing with some nagging injuries. Because for me, I want to get back in the cage and get back to fighting as well. But now, I'm not trying to fight all the time, like everybody else, but I just enjoy fighting. It's something that I have a passion for. Obviously, my life is encompassed by combat sports at the moment, or probably forever. I don't think I don't see myself really jumping out of the industry. I think I'm here to stay. But it's really about growth. That's what this entire time has been like since we last spoke, and then add in a pandemic
Yeah.
as well. It's all of everything since our last time we spoke has been about growing both myself as a person as well as the brand, because I am a business.
Yes.
And we have to make sure we're doing the right thing in the world and surviving.
Most definitely. So clearly, from what you've said, then you've been utilizing the time as best as possible to mold and create a better
Man,
self and look for
yeah.
another opportunities, revenue streams, and all those things there.
100%, man. It's just been it's been an enlightening period for me. I like I said, been able to grow on that side, but then like mentally and as someone who I feel has an influence and impacts other people around the world.
Mhm.
I have to continue to evolve and grow with the times, and that's what it's been about. And I feel I'm at my most optimal right now.
Most definitely. I mean, it's a strange, tumultuous time we're in at the moment where certain situations are being highlighted in regards to the murdering of original people in the wilderness of North America and other issues surrounding that. But it
Right.
seems to be, in my humble opinion, it seems that there's some maniacal, nefarious group of people are kind of hijacking this whole kind of thing and creating this woke kind of thing where like every single thing is being challenged and turned on its head, where
Mhm.
it's like, whoa, let's take baby steps. let's
Well,
let's
no, but see, I hear what you're saying, but that's the issue, right? So what people don't understand is like things are going to evolve over time, right?
Mhm.
Particularly like white supremacy and racism, right? Things
Yeah.
aren't going to be the same, and what people have to realize is that this is a forever war, and you're always going to have people trying to buck the system. They're always going to want to win,
Mm.
and we're just at a different point in time. Like the thing is that everything is the same, it's just evolved, and we have to see it as from the 2021 eyes and not like a 1921 eyes. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And that's what it is. So as far as people like, for one, I don't believe in cancel culture, right? But and people fall into that trap of like, oh, it's the woke people and they're trying to cancel everything. And it's like, no,
Mm.
that's not what it's about. It's about people not impinging on other people's rights as humans, right?
Indeed.
Like
Yes.
if someone wants to go live their life doing whatever, as long as it's not affecting anybody, I shouldn't have to go over there and be like, yo, don't act that way, right?
Mm. Mm.
But what's happening is you have these people who are very traditional in values, right? Or not
Yes.
in values, but in their beliefs.
Hmm.
But their beliefs are like 500 years old. Like it's you got to change, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
Yeah.
so that's where we are. We're in a time where change is happening, and change is happening at a rapid pace because of social media, right? Because of
Hmm.
the internet, because of access and connections to other people. And
Yes.
so people just have, and going back to the whole war thing, right? No one sees himself as the bad guy. No one wants to be seen as wrong or on the wrong side of
Hmm.
history. From their perspective, I'm right. You know what I'm saying? And when you question that, they get all up in arms.
Yeah.
And that's just where we are. But here's the thing: we have to stay the course. We have to keep pushing so we can get what we want. And what we want is for everybody to be cool and
Yeah.
everybody be good. That's what we want. You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
So we just got to keep fighting.
Most definitely, the fight is most definitely not over, and I think in essence, a word which is bandied around quite frequently, equality, but a true equality where it's
Right.
about people. It's not about a class system. It's not about necessarily the
100%.
color of someone's skin. It's about, yo, you're a
100%.
good person or are you a bad person?
Look, the only people I don't like are assholes. That
Mm,
don't, you know what I'm saying? Like those are the only
yes.
people I'm not messing with. You know what I'm saying? And that's cool. Like if you just not messing with somebody because they're an asshole, cool. But when you start like, oh, you're not liking someone because of the way they look or whatever, they don't have, like, I can't, I'm black,
Yeah.
right? So
Hmm.
I didn't get to choose my skin color.
This is it.
You know what I'm saying? And so
Hmm.
why would someone hate me because of something I had no say in? But people do. And it's all based off ignorance, right?
Yes.
So I'm not here for that. But I'm doing my role and doing my part to change the narrative, change the culture.
And we're making those steps as we're discussing. We're making those steps, and
Okay.
checking out that hat you got on right there, sibling. I
Let's go.
recall a certain video that you put up on the old Insta. Let's get into
Yeah.
that, there, man.
Yeah. So basically, what happened was I was flying on Southwest Airlines. I'm rocking the FCK racism hat. Now, mind you, I always board. I'm a A+ member, been A+ for like 10 years, right? So I board in the first, like,
Mm,
what am I, by number 820, right?
yes.
And so I'm sitting on, and I think I'm on, at the time when I get on the flight, I'm on like row 5. So I'm in the
Okay.
very front of the plane, right?
Yes.
So by the time, C group is boarding, right? There's people way in the back of the plane. I get one of the stewardess flight attendants come up and say, hey, someone's upset about your hat, can't you take it off? I was like, what are they upset about? I was like, your hat has an offensive word on it. I said, the only word on the hat is racism. I said, everything else is just a group of letters. And she was like, no, it's offensive because it insinuates. I was like, look, I'm not doing this with you. So she goes off and she calls some manager. He's like, hey, take the hat off. I was like, no. So he leaves. Now he goes and calls the black guy because I'm assuming maybe like the black guy is going to be able to convince me to take the hat off. So black dude comes on and is like, hey man, someone's offended by your hat. I get it, but someone's offended. If someone's offended, you got to take the hat off. I was like, look, none of what you're saying is making sense. It's only some racist white person being racist right now. So I don't know what to tell you. So he's like, dog, and I get where he's coming from. He's like, hey, can't just look, I'm just doing my job. I'm not trying to really start nothing. He's trying to pull me off the plane. So I'm like, look, if I take the hat off and put it on my knee, is that cool? He's like, yeah. So at this point, I realized what the game is. Somebody on the plane, whether it was the stewardess who first questioned me or it was a passenger, the purpose of this game is to win. And by winning, they want the hat off my head, right? Cool. I know what the game is. So now my point of the game, I gotta win. Like they're trying to win. Now you put me in the game. I didn't ask to be here. So I gotta win now, right? So I already have everything planned out. Soon as we take off, I know because the flight's in like 2 hours. There's no way they're gonna we're gonna get in the air, they're gonna turn the plane back around over a hat. There's no
No
way, right?
diversions over a
But
hat.
but if they did, so be it.
Hmm.
So we get in the air right when it says ding, 10,000 miles. I'll put the hat back on and I wait. Now, where I'm sitting, I'm sitting, I remember I'm row 5.
Hmm.
I have a direct line of sight to the flight attendant who asked me to take the hat off. So I put the hat back on and I look at her. And she look at me and we looking at each other. And so now I'm waiting for them to come past, do the water thing, right? So She sends like the supervisor on the plane, hey, didn't the lady ask you to take the hat off? And I was like, look, man, I'm not dealing with this with the hat. I say, your whole logic is flawed. I say, look, someone's complaining about the hat, right? She's like, yeah. I say, look, I'm on row 5 facing forward. The only people who can see the hat is the lady sitting next to me, which was an African lady, and then there was another white lady who was an ally. She was like, "Why are y'all bothering this black guy over a hat?" And then on the other side was like a row of black people. These are only people who could possibly see the hat, right? Everybody else is like 30 rows back. Fine. So I explained it to her. I was like, "Yo, why are you bothering about the hat?" She says, "Okay, you got a good point," and she leaves me alone, right? So I'm like, "Cool." Plane lands. I get up and I was like, yo, whatever one of you racists complained about the hat, I said, you lost because I'm still wearing it. And I like everybody kind of laughs or whatever. They open the door. A flight attendant from the ground in Houston come and I see her like she as soon as the door opens, she peeks her head in, right? And then they point at me. And I was like, oh shit, something's about to happen. So everyone gets off the plane. As soon as I go from like being on the plane to like the little the catwalk thing, that I was 1 foot on the catwalk, and the lady was like, "Sir, I need to speak to you." So I'm like, "Oh shit!" They called someone, went and called the manager.
Yeah.
So I get off, and then that's what the video. I get off, and she's like, "Sir, why do you have the hat on?" No, she said, "Sir, didn't they ask you to take the hat on?" I was like, "Yeah." Well, why is it on your head? And I was like, "Look, I already told the lady what happened." And she's like, "No, sir, it doesn't work that way." I was like, "Yes, it does work this way because I said so. I'm not dealing with y'all racism, lady." And I kind of walk off. In that moment, I realized I checked the bag and it was going to take a little bit of time. And, I'm inquisitive.
Mm-hmm.
So I double back. And I said, "Hey, why are you cool with like this racism?" And she kind of basically was like, "It's not racism. I'm offended." I was like, "Yo, you're offended by FCK racism?" She said, "It says it has an offensive word on it." I say, "What word? Racism?" She's like, "No, it says fuck." I say, "Lady, show me on this hat where it says fuck." And I swear to you, this was the most white fragility, whiteness thing anybody could have ever said in that moment. The lady looked at me with a straight face and said, "I can sound it out."
Oh.
How do you sound out? You sound out FCK by saying FCK.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here? But that's really what it is. It was white supremacy and white fragility. Well, not white. I call it white mediocrity is what it is.
I like that.
You have white mediocrity trying to win. Because think about it. If I take the hat off my head, the hat is still on the plane.
Yes.
Whether it's on my knee, my head, her knee, his knee, it's still on the plane. So all you wanted to do was get the hat off my head. And you lost.
Power struggle. That's what it is. And why should this is the weirdest thing. And this is also an interesting one of sorts because you got freedom of speech.
Right.
Yeah. So freedom to assemble, freedom to demonstrate, to protest. So how are you supposed to be worried, not so much worried about, how do you control other people's emotions?
You're looking at it the wrong way. I'm going to tell you as well. Everybody looks at this the wrong way. You're looking at this from a logical standpoint, and you're also looking at this as if white mediocrity sees everyone else as equal.
Oh yes, I know
White mediocrity doesn't see us as equal, so it's not a double in their mind. It's not a double standard. It's not hypocrisy. They're just trying to win, and in that moment, because of the way white fragility works, right? If I'm offended in any way, then we have to correct this.
Yes.
And that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to correct their own opinion about something. I was like, nah, that's not how it works.
This is the whole point. It's like your opinions and your sensibilities, your emotions are your own. You know what I mean? It has no effect on anybody else but your own. So nobody should be put under those kind of restrictions. Like, well, wait a minute. The way you're
so that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing.
We gotta keep on fighting that good fight, man.
Yeah,
most definitely.
And see, that's the thing, is like when I say this, it's not like this is for everybody, like racism in this system literally hurts everybody because
Yes.
it's and now racism is definitely based on class, right? And
Hmm.
if you're in the same class, which the majority of everyone is, if you're in the same economic class as minorities, then you're affected. Like think about the people who are in the top percentage of the world, like what 2%, 1%, whatever it is, right?
1%. Yeah. Yeah.
What about everybody else?
Exactly.
So yeah, man, I'm here. I'm fighting for everybody. You did.
Look, like you, that is just 100% truth. Like we need to try and like look. Your namesake, Michael Jackson, the man in the mirror, huh?
Yeah, man.
Shit.
Shout out to Mike Jack, man. I was just watching the Moonwalker. Moonwalker is one of my favorite movies of all
Yeah, yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I was going through my DVDs, right?
Mm,
I was going through some DVDs and boom, it was just right there. And
yes,
I was like, gotta watch it. I
you have
don't know
to.
what I don't even remember what I was looking for. I saw it and it was the original. I don't have it with me right now, but I saw it and I was like, gotta watch it.
Yeah, man.
And it took me back to my childhood for sure.
This is it. And those sounds, those visuals
Man,
do take you
yeah,
back to a time where life was a
yeah,
lot more simple, man.
yeah. Life was definitely more simple in that time, but as life though, we have to evolve. It's the
Hmm.
evolution,
Mm.
and we just got to keep getting better.
But this is the key. This is the key. And through most of the conversations I'm having of recent, especially throughout the start and then middle to the latter part, so now we're kind of seeing the apex through the trees kind of thing through the zombie apocalypse. People are winning, man. People have said to themselves, you know what? You've put me in this crazy position. I'm not going to crumble.
Mhm.
I'm gonna do
Agree.
something. I'm gonna do something else. I'm gonna try and do something else. I'm gonna learn a new skill. I'm gonna find a new interest, a new hobby. I'm gonna get fit. I'm gonna do something with my time now.
Well, people, you had no other choice. You had no other option than do that. You had to find a way, and that's the thing about people and humans. Like we're gonna find it. We're either gonna sink or gonna swim. And the majority of us are gonna swim,
Hmm.
but we have to figure out how to swim in whatever ocean we're in. You know what I'm saying? And I feel a lot of us, the majority of us, have done that. We've been able to do that. Well, if we have the ability to, right?
Hmm.
We've definitely done that. We've seen people's lives flip on going the other way, and it's just about that moment in time and how you take advantage of it.
The key is balance.
Oh, 100%. That's one of my favorite words to use, or for favorite sort of metaphors to use and analogies is based off balance.
That it's key. It's key. It's also we can also look at through self building and creation and self mastery being self less and being selfish because we
Yeah,
can't just be selfless all the time or we wouldn't get anything done for ourselves, innit?
100%. Because what happens, what I tell people is, we all have bandwidth, right? And it's
Mhm.
what how much bandwidth you can give out. Like for me, I don't like do a whole lot, but the things I do require bandwidth. It requires an enormous amount of bandwidth. So for me, I may not like be doing like some construction or problem solving, some engineering shit, right? But what I'm doing for me takes a lot, and so I have to focus that energy and that bandwidth on certain tasks. And that's for me. I don't want to give too much because I need it. I can't give too much away to these other people. Then how am I gonna get my job and get my work done? You have to balance it.
Facts, facts. So as we wind this bill down, I know you got other things to do, sibling, and we'll definitely arrange a part two.
I
Um,
definitely want to do a part two.
yeah, yeah, 100%, man. We got a lot to cover, man. We got a lot to cover. Quick snapshot into the next 6 months for the truth.
Mhm.
What we got in the works outside of the merch.
Well, we're definitely looking to get back into the cage, get back to the UFC, get back to fighting. We had some hiccups. We were supposed to get back in there in January. Out in Fight Island in Abu Dhabi.
Damn.
It was just real quick. Some things can happen as far as visa issues. Then the fight got moved to May. But then my opponent, Dean Berry, he had some visa issues coming over here with the lockdown and everything.
Mm.
And all in that time, I had some nagging injuries kind of flare up. So it was really a moment of reflections, like, yo, what are we gonna do here? We're gonna get better. We're gonna call it quits. What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
But finding out it wasn't as severe as expected,
Okay.
and finding out that Dean does now, he has his visa and he's able to come to the country. I'm hoping we can get back in there in the next few months. I need to reach out to Shine today or tomorrow, somewhere pretty soon, just to see what his status is, because he and I spoke at the Houston card, and he asked me, what's going on, and I explained it to him. He's like, yo, let me know. But this was prior to Dean, getting his
Yes.
visa. So I'm gonna got to talk, reach back out to him just to see where that lies, and hopefully, in the next 2 to 3 months, I'm back in that thing.
Yeah, man. Hey, when as soon as they announced the Houston card, I was thinking to myself, is the truth going to be on this here card?
Man, that would have been. But here's the thing. I'm gonna reach out because I think they're coming back to Houston. I think, you know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna
Yes.
I'm gonna throw that. Because we didn't really have anybody on the Houston. We had my guy Matt Schnell, who is he's from Louisiana. He's out here now. He was on the card, but we had no real Houston guy on the card. We would have liked to see like Adrian Yanez on there, but the next one, hopefully we get back on the next one.
Fingers and toes crossed, man. And just to encapsulate that element of it, what was it like having fans back in the H for that event?
So it was a cool experience, I will say. Man, dude, there was so many fights in the crowd. That was a crazy thing. Like, people was really to get out there. Shout out to my guy Colin Cantrell. Colin is the old legacy fights ring announcer. He himself got into a brawl.
Wow.
In the thing. So it was funny because I remember seeing a brawl where I was sitting across in the stand, right? And so I'm like, oh, these motherfuckers really out here fighting. And then literally as that brawl was like being ended or dispersed, I get a DM from a guy and was like, yo, Kyle was just like in a fight with the crowd, blah, blah, blah. But he didn't really give like specific. He was like, yo, your dude just got in a fight. So in that moment, as this fight across is just ending, I'm thinking, and I was like, wait, Kyle was just right. Cause I'm like, we're in my section. I'm in row 2. Colin is row 3. I was like, he was just right here. How did he get on the other side of the arena so quickly and then get into a fight? So I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And then Colin's son, who was sitting with us in the same section, he comes. Now, I never met him. This is the son I had met. So he's like, hey, are you Mike Jackson? And I was like, yeah. He's like, I'm Colin's son. He just got to I was like, wait, the fight over there? He's like, no, a fight over here. I was like, wait, how many fights is it? So apparently, here's the story. There was a guy in a bathroom. He was kind of aggressive with the woman. Colin sees it. He comes and tries to, break it up or whatever, which he does. The guy goes on, he finally dispersed, goes on his way. Well, time, maybe 30 minutes, an hour, whatever passes. The guy comes back. Colin's looking. He sees the guy coming back, but now the guy has, which coincidentally or finds out it's his father. So the guy and his dad are coming out. Where Colin is from, he's from Huntsville. Well, he grew up in Huntsville, Texas, and he started a team called Death Row MMA. Now it has symbolism because in Huntsville, Texas, it's where the big Texas prison system is.
Yes.
And that's where everybody goes to die.
Mm.
So it makes sense where they would call it Death Row MMA in Huntsville, right?
Yes.
So knowing who Colin is, and I know his fight. I know his fight. He loves the street fight. He was just telling me about he beat up some dude in a gas station, like some road rage incident like a year ago, right? So he loves street fights. So he's telling us, so I'm looking at the guy and his dad approach us, and I was like, oh man, I already know what's gonna happen. So he walk up to him, and he's like, this is my son or whatever. And the guy's like, look, none of that matters. Did he tell you what he was doing to that young lady in the bathroom? And the dude like, it doesn't matter. So they going, so fine. Now, Colin he's cool in a moment, but fine, he's like, look, because again, so just to give you also who Colin is, not only was a ring announcer, he was a fighter back in the day at Death Row MMA. He actually fought Eve Edwards back in the day, right?
Okay.
So he looks at the guy and he's like, look, or the guy, it was him and his son. He said, look, I'll fuck you up and I'll fuck you up if this is what y'all want to do. Well, you got Colin who's a street fighter, and then you got these two dudes who are drunk. Well, what's going on?
Mm.
Colin doesn't really want to punch the guy, so he basically like takes him down. He got knee on belly. He's kind of like choking him, putting his hand on the throat. Well, there's another former fighter who was in the area named Patrick Hutton. He used to box and stuff like that. He sees all this. Now, Colin's thing, I know Patrick is here. I just saw him. That's my boy. He's gonna help me, right? So as Colin's knee riding this guy, this dude comes over here and is just punching Colin in the side of the head. So Colin's like, yo, where's Patrick Hutton right now? So finally, Patrick sees what's happening and he goes and grabs the guy and puts him in the rear naked choke. All right. So now he's not like fully choking him, but he's like restraining him.
Yeah.
Patrick is one of the nicest, sweetest men I've ever known. I've been knowing him for years, right? So if Patrick has him in the chokehold, he says, Patrick recently he whispers to him, he's like, hey, you cool? You calm? All right, you gotta be calm. I'm gonna let you go. If you be calm, I'm gonna let you go. So he was like, all right, I'm calm. Patrick, now this is a street fight. Patrick lets him go. The dude immediately goes and soccer kicks Colin in the head. And we're like, bro, why would you let him go in a street fight? Anyway, finally he gets him. Patrick gets him again, and then the cops come. But it's like, what is going on here, right? In a street fight. But it was cool, and I know it was a long good story, but it was cool having Houston fans back.
Yeah, man.
But we need less street fight. We need less bar brawls out here, man. But it was a wild night. But all of that said, it was dope having the fans back in the arenas. I'm over here doing like the Fury cards. We had like Dana White's looking for a fighter like the following day. And to have these fans in attendance, supporting these guys, man, it's a beautiful thing.
Proper. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. You know what? I've said this. I said this when I was talking to Din. I still kind of I like both. Obviously, all I've known is.
I love no fans.
Yeah, man.
I love no fans. I ain't gonna lie. I love no fans, but I get it.
Yes.
Gotta sell tickets. Gotta put butts in seats.
Definitely, man. Definitely. So, very lastly, throughout all your socials, man, how can people get in contact with you and stuff?
Man, of course, you can follow me on all the social media. Twitter, Instagram is at The Truth Jackson. I'm on Facebook at Mike The Truth Jackson. The website is MikeTheTruth.com. And I'm shouting out, make sure you follow me on Instagram too at Shits and Giggles brand. That's where the new apparel line is going to be dropping here in the next couple of months, and it's going to be fire.
Perfect. I'll make sure I'll put links below in the description. Make sure you go over there and follow Mike. he's an interesting character.
You ready?
Yeah, man.
I'm a different guy, man. I'm in a great space. Like everything that I've been able to do, I've been able to use my personality in this space, and it's been at the right place, right time, knowing the right people, and I've just been able to capitalize off the opportunities.
Definitely. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and most definitely share.